In my Skinamarink video, I posed a question to my viewers. How important is your movie viewing experience to your opinion of a movie? What matters to you the most? Your atmosphere, your crowd, your physical location, projector, etc. Can the wrong environment really ruin a movie for you? Obviously, it's a mix of all these aspects, and different films, genres, even studios work best under different aspects. Big, bombastic blockbusters work best with a 100-foot screen, an IMAX laser projector, and a huge sound system. Horror movies can work in a big packed audience or cozy under the covers with a lover at your side. Golden oldies are best with a 70mm reel and some plain stale popcorn, or maybe some Spam Fiesta cups. What the fuck were y'all on in the 50s? All these different aspects factor into your enjoyment of a movie. But in my opinion, things like this shouldn't detract from the entertainment or story of a film. Yeah, if you have to deal with crying babies, unbathed man-children, fucked up projectors, or anything else, you don't have to enjoy the movie. You can have a bad time. But if you go to watch a movie on your laptop at 2 a.m. in your bed, there should be nothing lost in translation. There shouldn't be any reason to feel like you're missing something, that an integral part of the movie is lost to you based on your format. And if there is, it's a failure on the filmmaker's part. As long as you're able to pay attention and process the film, you should be able to experience the core of the movie, the story, and the immersion it tries to create itself. So here's my theory. Every MCU entry since Endgame has lacked an essential viewing element, and thus has never allowed any of its viewers to fully appreciate it. Every movie has to have an audience reaction video. Every movie has to be bigger and more exciting than the last. Marvel movies used to be a big social event. Everyone and their grandmas coming out to see it, cheering loudly and talking about it for the next week or two. Marvel movies brought together friends, co-workers, families. It used to be a communal thing. Then Disney Plus happened, and then COVID happened, and people got too comfortable in not seeing these in theaters. People could watch a shitty cam rip of Black Widow and know it wasn't worth the high price of tickets and snacks. Was the Eternals worth going out into a theater to get COVID and get sick and die? My point is best exemplified with No Way Home. Sure, it was a huge event, and that's also because it was a big crossover event preying on people's nostalgia. But it was sort of its own endgame. It wasn't about the story or the character development or any single aspect of essential filmmaking. It's all about who will die next and what cameos are in this one and what crossovers do we get. The post-credit scenes have been what some people pay the price of the ticket for alone. Fuck, you think I saw Ant-Man 2 out of my own volition? No Way Home was built to be a big, crowd-pleasing event movie. And for those watching at home, you have to sit through a minute and a half of silence just waiting for the audience to die down that isn't watching with you.
Oh! Hi. Hi. No. It's okay. I'm a nice guy. Okay.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Peter Parker.
That's not possible.
I am Spider-Man.
I really like No Way Home and I'll defend it to the death, but it's ultimately a flawed movie. It doesn't give either in-person audiences or at-home viewers the chance to fully appreciate it. So after disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, we finally have the next part of the MCU, and it's fucking Ant-Man. The Ant-Man movies have always been self-imposed as table setters, as palate cleansers, and this one promised to be the next essential step in the MCU, introducing the next big bad guy. It was really trying to be the next big event movie that Marvel needed. But not only was it fighting through the reputation this past phase has had after disappointment, but also to contend with being a fucking Ant-Man movie. But I think the movie knows it's not living up to that. I mean, I think Marvel knows that Ant-Man isn't their breadwinner. And I think the story about Ant-Man trying to overcome this threat that he knows is bigger than him is really cool. I love the way Kang talks down to him.
Down here, you're out of your league.
But it only exasperates my point about why the public doesn't respond to it. They don't want the small stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Paul Rudd. I love a lot of the comedy in these movies. I don't think it always works, but I think throwing out 100 jokes a second only for a couple of them to land is still a valid way to write. I just wish Ant-Man movies played more into the comedic sensibilities, rather than trying to stick to the Marvel format. It's weird because this movie kind of contends itself as Ant-Man's Ragnarok, so going into Ant-Man 3, I had some of the lowest expectations for any Marvel movie ever. But after sitting down and watching it, I kind of found myself enjoying it. It wasn't as bad as I thought or everyone else thinks. I don't think it's that good, especially not in the upper echelon of these movies, but it's a fun, silly little comic book movie. I love the beginning of this movie. I really like seeing the day-to-day of Ant-Man and the recent developments of Scott and his family. I think the MCU needs more wholesome, breathable moments like this. I really like them building out Hope to be this big, influential character, smarter and kinder, really more akin to how she is in the comics. I do really like Scott and Hope's dynamic. I think it's cute and it works when she's in the movie. Her name is in the title and she's maybe an active participant for like 13% of it. And then for this movie to pretty much shaft her for the entire runtime is tragic. Very disappointing, but hey, I guess that's what happens when you can't be on site for half of the days because you're not vaccinated. I think there is some good performances in here. Paul Rudd always crushes it and he's always very funny and charismatic. Michael Douglas is in full cop-out mode, but they write him to be this funny, softer, more comedic performance, and I really like that. I think he does a good job here. Evangeline Lilly and Catherine Newton are good, but Michelle Pfeiffer really phones it in. She's so cold and disconnected from everyone else. I really thought that she was going to be a villain. She was going to have a turn in this movie. And then when she didn't, and she was really just like that, I didn't know what was up. I do think most of these people are just here for the check. And hey, get that back. I don't care. It's not until we get into the Quantum Realm where this movie really loses me. These Quantum Realm people just have absolutely no character at all. I think it borrows a lot from the greats like Dune, Star Wars, and Star Trek, but I think the characters ruin it. I just don't care about any of these people, and they're not even that well designed. I do think there's some really cool sci-fi stuff and concepts. I think a lot of the landscapes and wide shots and settings look really cool. Obviously, a lot of them look awful, and the CGI ends up looking so muddy and so unfinished. I don't think it's excusable. I think a lot of the concepts in this movie are still cool. And I really like some of the visual effects. I like that Quantum Realm falling scene. I mean, I guess we're just gonna get this type of scene in every one of these fucking movies now. Then, of course, there's Jonathan Majors as Kang. I do really think the performance is good, and I do think he sows the seeds for even more villainous, bombastic Kangs to come up in the future. I do think it's a little simple, but Jonathan Majors really does work with the performance here. I do take serious issue with the fact that this is the movie to set him up. Not Avengers, no big A-lister movie, it's this. And Loki, so you really gotta watch every one of these fucking things to get him and his full story, I guess. I think some of the action scenes work, and I think some of them fall flat on their face and turn into mud. I think some performances work, and I think some are awful. I think some jokes work, and I think some are just downright terrible. I think an infinite number of Paul Rudds is great. I think an infinite number of Evangeline Lillys will destabilize every vaccine manufacturer in the world. Overall, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has some really cool stuff. There are some great concepts, some funny jokes, and some cool visuals. A lot of the highs in this movie are pretty good, but there's so many lows and so many boring middle parts. This movie also has to struggle being the next big stepping stone for the MCU. It has to set things up. It has to be the leading piece into the next arc. I don't think this is the movie to bring people out in droves opening weekend. I don't think it's the type of movie to have everyone talking, but it's clearly what it wants to be, and it's clearly taking those elements to try to get people talking. But when people have to sit through these rebellion sequences, and Janet Van Dyne's backstory, I think you lose so much the audience who feel like they could just watch this at home. So there I am, alone in the half-empty theater on a Friday night, sitting with myself through the credits, processing how I feel about the movie. I think I liked it. But there were so many times I was bored or audibly laughing at the lesser-made aspects. Most of the audience got up and left quietly or were just giggling to themselves on the way out, so it seems not many other people liked it. I caught myself just sitting there, waiting for the post-credits. I was playing right into the Marvel game. These movies have always been important to me ever since I was a kid, always waiting out to see what was coming next, always sticking it out for the hypest moment of the movie. But I sat there with none of the other elements that made me happy. No friends or family with me, no big reactions, no communal interest. What was I doing this all for? I wasn't sold on the movie. What was I giving it extra attention for? Maybe I still have faith in Marvel. Maybe I still have belief that they can build something as meticulous and tight as the Infinity Saga. Maybe I'll still pull up to most of these movies, and hopefully relish in the shared experiences of the big twists, the emotional gut punches, but moreover, hoping the stories and characters get back to what made them special or truly give us something new and unique that works. And as the credits faded, and the light at the end of the tunnel shed itself across my face, I watched. And it was nothing. But then I saw it again with my family, and my family really liked it. And it turns out I liked it more than I ever really even expected. I do think this is a competent movie, and I don't think it's worth all the hate. It just has to contend with mass audiences wanting more. Quantumania isn't a trash fire. It's not even that bad, and it stands alone as a good, enjoyable sci-fi movie. I think ultimately, this movie shows it's just time for blockbuster audiences to realize things are allowed to be small in scope and stakes. Hey, get it? Like Ant-Man, like he's small.
Hello? Hi, if you're a loyal watcher, I wanted to record a message for you.
I'm dropping that. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around again for another one of my videos. I hope the new format is up to everyone's standard. Once again, I know I didn't talk as in-depth about like MODOK or a lot of the other stuff in this movie. I would have liked to. If you want to hear more of my opinions about that, check out my podcast, Film Class Heroes. Get it on any streaming service you want now. It's cool. It's great. Thanks again for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Oh, dang, I don't have a question for you guys this week. What's your favorite, what color underwear do you have? And how many stains are there? Sorry.